What's up, everybody, and welcome into the Backliners podcast. Aggro and BaRRaCCuDDa are back. Our significant others did a wonderful job.
Forever.
Huh?
Oh. What? Gone forever from the podcast. They've been banished.
Why? They did a good job.
Oh. I thought you were going to back me up there.
Yeah, they've been banished. If you've
Thank you.
seen Monsters, Inc., we did the same thing to them, where we put them through a mystical doorway that put them in Antarctica with the abominable snowman. That's what happened to Sully and Mike Wazowski when they got banished. That's a spoiler for Monsters, Inc., but if you haven't seen it by now, I don't feel bad.
Wait, how many Monsters Inc. are there?
There's Monsters, Inc., there's Monsters University, and then I don't think there's a third, but I'm not sure. I think Monsters, Inc. is an S tier, like, kids animated movie.
Yeah, it was really good. And then I don't think I watched the second one, but the first one was really good. I was a big fan.
Someone I know is a really big fan of Monsters University. I think it's Sam. I think it's Sam for soccer. And Sam's got good opinions about stuff, so...
Bro, it came out in 2001.
Monsters, Inc.?
Yeah, I thought it was older than that.
Yep. I was in 4th grade whenever that came out.
Yeah, I was 10 years old, so I don't know what grade that is. Is that 4th? Or 5th? I think I'm 1 year older than you, right?
Yeah, you're 1 year older than me, so you would probably be 5th.
Yeah, 5th. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, that was that's one of my... I think that is one of the 2 funniest animated movies, like kids-oriented animated movies of all time. I think it is top 2.
Wow.
Do you have or is there one? This isn't the random question of the week, which Joe did give me this week. Because now she knows the struggle. You know, she gets it.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I look up a chat for the first time on the show, and the first thing I see is I was born in 2001.
Yeah. It's crazy how time keeps going.
It is insane, bro. It literally never stops.
It doesn't stop. And then, like, you just wake up one day and you're like, oh, I'm 30. And you're just like, wait, but I was just 20, like, yesterday.
I know.
And I was just like, 10 seems like a long time ago. Don't get me wrong. 10 seems like forever ago. 20 doesn't seem like that long ago for me.
Nope.
But the more I think about it, it kind of does, because I was in, like, the middle of college then.
Yeah?
And I've done a lot of things since then, so it kind of fits, honestly.
It kind of fits. You know, this is the portion of the podcast where Bear and I get on our porches and make you guys hear some life advice. But here's some unsolicited life advice for all of you podcast listeners out there. There's nothing you can do about time continuing to move and you getting older. There's nothing you can do about it. All you can do is in your current moment, no matter what you're annoyed with or you don't like about what is going on in your life, I think that sometimes it's good to just, like, take a step back a little bit and go, you know, my life's going to change. I'm never going to get this, you know, what's going on in my life right now, whatever it is going to change. And there are going to be parts of this time in my life that I'll probably look back fondly on and try and appreciate those moments now while you can, you know?
Or you'll just appreciate the struggle that you're going through now and be like, wow, I was a strong person for getting through that, you know?
Yeah.
I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, I think, definitely. That's definitely a big part of it. Okay, while we're off topic for Smite, I talked last week about getting ADHD diagnosed, and I started my medicine this week. And I was telling Barra right before we went live that yesterday we had to do some lawn work because some people who own a house for the first time didn't do anything about any of the leaves that fell in the fall and then realized that they needed to pick them up now before the grass started growing, and they didn't have any grass underneath them. So that's what my wife and I did yesterday. And I'm very sore because, again, I'm very old and also out of shape, and lawn work is hard. But also, I was just, like, out there doing chores, and I realized, I was like 20 minutes in, and I realized that my brain didn't try to get me to go and do something else at all.
Whoa.
And it just let me stand there and pick up leaves for like 30 minutes without complaining to me at all. And I was like, that is wild. Y'all, like, look, I'm not saying I was excited to go out and pick up leaves, but if I can just tell myself to do it and it's going to happen, that's nuts.
That's kind of crazy. That's a big improvement.
Yeah.
Wait, so you guys were raking it, right?
Yeah, we got a leaf blower,
Okay.
we got a rake, we got some gloves. We put them in bags. We put some of those bags and just like yeeted the leaves into the woods behind our house. And
Yeah, I
then
was
some of
gonna
them we got
ask
some like paper bags and put them in there.
because at the house we're at now, we don't have like spare. We don't have like woods, I guess, behind.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause there's just like another yard behind.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't have like any trees that give us like a lot of leaves now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm worried for the day that we do
Mm-hmm.
because I won't know where to put them. Do you just throw them away?
Yeah, so you can just like buy like bags at like Home Depot or Lowe's or any like department store like that
Mhm.
they're like big giant paper bags that then you can let your trash company know to like pick them up.
Oh,
And they'll dispose.
you have to pay for it?
Or you no, I don't think so. Or you can ask your trash company for a compost bin, and you can put a bunch of them in there as well,
Oh.
and they'll take that for you.
I feel like
So
they would definitely take some money knowing that the company that takes my trash is kind of greedy. They have
unlucky.
like 1-star reviews on Google.
Yeah, that's not great. I wonder what I'm gonna live Google on the podcast what the Google review is for the company that picks up our trash.
Yeah,
Okay,
because I was like, it
2
can't be that
stars.
bad,
That's
right?
twice as good as BaRRaCCuDDa's company. That's
Uh,
twice as good as BaRRaCCuDDa's company.
I guess no one's gonna go and leave a positive review on a trash company.
That is
So
true.
it's more about just complaining that they messed something up.
It's like an apartment complex. Like no one has ever left a positive
Yeah.
review for an apartment complex.
That's true.
But yeah, that is true. Also, if you only get a couple of leaves, you don't need to like pick them up, especially if right at the day after they fall, you just take a lawnmower and you just like grind it up. Basically, it'll just act as fertilizer. So you can just do that.
Just shred them.
Yep,
Oh,
just
that's
shred them
nice.
up, put them all through your lawn. I learned that because I was told, and I don't know anything about owning a home or a lawn, and I'm clueless all the
There's
time.
Okay, so I've owned a home for like 4 or 5 years, and I'll just let you know that I still don't know anything.
All right,
It's like
we're gonna
it's
keep on
very
going.
you just Google everything, you know. You're basically
It's true.
working IT,
Yep.
and you're just like, okay, my dry like right now, my dryer, me and Destiny's dryer, is not doing its best job at drying clothes, and I'm
Have you
looking
guys-
forward to.
Have you guys done the thing where you take the like tube off the wall and make sure that it's not like all clogged up in there with lint?
That is the first thing I'm doing after the podcast.
I feel like
because
I haven't done that yet. I really need to do that. It seems like it'd be satisfying. I really like cleaning the lint trap. Like that's a satisfying like thing to do, you know?
Wait, don't you have to like blow it out through to like
I don't know.
not get a fire in your house or something like
That's
that?
very
Like, doesn't the
possible.
lint like if it's not like right next to the exit of the house or like right next to the outside, I guess.
I
Well,
don't know.
I got something else to worry about. I guess.
And remember, Barra, just take a step back and appreciate that that this is a time in your life that won't be here forever.
My house just catches on
Yeah,
fire.
just
right now.
literally,
It's
just
wonderful.
literally exploding. Yeah, exactly. All right, we should probably talk about Smite at some point.
Oh yeah. That's what we're here
because-
for.
And also, I'm realized. Okay, we're going over the 9.3 patch notes. There's two things I want to say about it. Number one, these shows always go long when we're going over patch notes, so I'm going to try and shrink it a little bit. We're going to speed run a little bit earlier than we typically do. And two, things have changed a little bit since I've changed positions. Now I'm a part of the team that I would say that I was a consultant or an advisor previously, but now I'm involved in basically all of these decisions that go on. So, I can certainly nothing is going to be catching me off guard. I'm probably going to have to be a little bit I probably won't be able to give you all as much information as I wish I could. But I think that I could certainly be here to offer insight on some things, which I'm sure you all totally understand which direction we're going and completely agree with it in every single way. So you don't have to worry about that too much.
Yeah, I love ADC.
Perfect. That's good news. We love to hear it. That means we don't need to buff it at all next patch. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, dude, it's so fun.
Okay, perfect. Yep. No, but hold on. Let me actually write that down.
One person is enjoying ADC right now.
No buffs needed for ADC. Nerfs? Question mark. Cool. Got that down. We'll go over that with the team tomorrow. All right, let's start small change to towers. Increased base damage dealt by the tier 1 and tier 2 towers to enemy gods by 10%. Minion damage is unchanged.
I actually think that's a big change.
Yeah?
I think that's going to catch a lot of support players off guard. Well, tanks in general, I guess. Because it's scaling up, right? Like, it starts at 10%, and then that is, like, another 10% more. Like, I feel like it's just going to catch people off guard because they're not used to it scaling as fast, I guess, if that makes sense. Because it'll be just, yeah. I don't know the exact math on it, but it seems scary.
Yeah.
Not that I'm ever taking a tower, you know,
right.
But
if I was. It should protect you from those tower dives. Whatever the odd instances where ADC is weak. That could be good for sure. Obelisk no longer gives sight all the way in that little area. It's a little bit smaller now. And also increased time it takes to steal an offering from 3 seconds to 4 seconds. So a little bit harder to juice the enemy team. What term do you guys use for them stealing your offerings if it's podcast appropriate?
I just say stealing our juice.
Okay. What do you call the scepter?
Scepter.
No way.
We don't have like a special name.
You guys call it the scepter?
Yeah. Is that bad?
I just can't believe it.
Wait, what do you want me to call it?
I think there are a million things you can call the scepter.
Okay, I'm not going to call it the gun. I'm not going to say I'm going to get the gun. I feel like teammates get a little worried.
Try it. Just try it tomorrow in scrims. That's all I'm saying.
All right, give me a name and I'll try it.
Hopefully we don't get in trouble for this. We call it the gun in all of our playtests.
What?
Yeah,
you can't call it the gun. You can't. My teammates would get worried if I was like, I got to get the gun.
Just say it and don't explain it.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let me report.
Yeah,
back.
My whole team's at the gym, so it's fine.
They're at the gym, or they say the gym. Because people in chat are saying Jimmy. Everyone calls it Jimmy.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what Jimmy's about.
I don't. Can someone in chat explain to me the Jimmy thing? I don't get it. Hopefully it's not inappropriate. I'm not just like saying it on the podcast.
I think Weekend started it.
Oh, all right. That's.
Wait, is Weekend or Hazer? And they call Little Jimmy. 2
people immediately say Hazer name, and then Hazer goes, Weekend came up with it, I think. So that's pretty funny. So apparently Weekend did start it. Fair enough. He just liked the name Jimmy. I'm a fan of it. I'm going to have a hard time not calling it what we call it. And then Nagas no longer provide team gold and scale appropriately and all that kind of stuff. So Naga's a little bit less important. How much do you think that actually changes? Does that change the way you want to play the lane at all?
I just wish this thing didn't one-shot me. It's really annoying to having to reset that thing. At level 4, it hits you for 70.
Hits you for a lot? But your support should be there at level 4, right? Your support should be there then.
Yeah, no, I would never be hitting that thing. It's like, I just have to like do the little dance. I have to auto-attack it twice, step outside,
give a little love,
auto-attack it twice.
Get down tonight, you know, that whole thing.
You guys are just making me do more work.
BaRRa, your brain is just so big that we knew you could handle it, you know? That's all there is to it.
Thank you.
No, I think it's good that, that doing a lot of damage incentivizes the support to not be roaming to the other side of the map at that time. You know, they want to be there to tank it. Or you can do it slowly by kiting it. I'm personally about it. All right, next up. Each player can now only buy 1 glyph total. We talked about this a little bit on patch notes. Don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. But basically, as we look at the future and what we want to do, we just think that this could potentially, if we decide to add more glyphs, limit our design space on their interactions. So this is just future-proofing if we decide to come back to it.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yep. It's just better to rip the Band-Aid off now than confuse people later. All right, Ambulative Silence now only triggers and consumes cooldown if successfully applied to an enemy god. I think this is now really good.
I think that's how it should have been from the beginning.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, maybe that should have been the case, but I think that,
I think people now buy it, whereas before it was like too risky, I guess. I guess if you're buying hardware and they have a channeling ability, I think that's when you buy it. But I don't know how often will realistically be bought. It'll probably be bought more as time goes on, I think. But I don't think people realize how strong it is right now.
Sure.
I think, in my opinion.
Yep, fair enough. All right, let's see here. Thorns. There's two changes to both Thorns full upgrades. Thorns of Overgrowth, the radius of the bonus buffs goes from 40 to 55 units, and Thorns of Sapping Strength go from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. Are you seeing a lot of Thorns right now in your games? Do you think that Thorns is good?
Occasionally, but not too often. It also doesn't really feel overbearing when it is bought. It seems playable around. It doesn't seem like super OP. It seems pretty balanced also.
Cool. That's what we'd like to hear. Bracer of Illumination. Cooldown goes from 190, increased range, increased speed. Other bracers saw a lot of play in SCPL play-ins and that kind of stuff. I think it took a long time for players, and some changes, of course, for players to start picking up Seer of the Jungle. And I think now they're starting to understand like how good vision dominance is around fire giants. And I think if your comp doesn't really vibe with, like, they aren't really that good at bursting objectives down, but you want the bracer effect in the early game for something, this could be a pretty viable pickup a little bit later on in order to ensure that vision dominance. Or, like, let's say your jungler isn't an Eye of the Jungle jungler, they like have to go Bumbas because it's way better for them, or mannequins. You can kind of get a Seer-esque effect around the fire giant in order to combat their Seer with a Bracer of Illumination.
You're kind of going brain blast mode right now.
How is this stuff medicine, man? Like, it is crazy. I'm just thinking at a mile a minute these days. You
just like rap godded like a whole situation to make that item seem useful.
That's what I do, baby. That's what I do.
That's kind of impressive.
Yep, check it out, man. That's
I have never bought this item or seen it bought.
You got a little guy running around, and what's better than that? You know, everyone loves to have a little guy running around.
Does he only run in one direction, or does he go in?
He goes back and forth.
Like cross?
No, it's just a straight line back and forth.
Is that the angle that you throw it at?
Yeah, it's straight out from you.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep,
that makes sense.
Real easy. Wait a minute, I don't remember this. Something about spending too much money on monthly wireless bills, and all you've got to do is go to mintmobile.com/backliners if you want to get a better deal. Something about, I don't know, you can read it right here in the patch notes. If saving more and spending less is one of your top goals for 2022, why are you still paying insane amounts of money every month for wireless? All you've got to do is switch to Mint Mobile. It's the easiest way to save this year. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you maximize your saving with plans starting at just $15 a month. And it actually says right in these patch notes here, Barry, that Mint Mobile is used by world champion gamer John BaRRaCCuDDa Salter, and that he loves it. Is that true?
That is very true. Look, it's okay. I've said it like 20 times so far. It's so
Barra, Barra, a quick aside.
Yeah.
Mint Mobile's kind of the homies, okay? And we're gonna be I think we're gonna be doing a lot of ad reads for them this year because we love them and they love us.
Well, what I'm saying
so you're gonna have to tell them how much you love it like every week, kinda. You know, that's just
what I'm saying is that like if I haven't made it through to you now, I don't know what I need to do to just say that's like way cheaper and just as fast as other plans. Like, do I need to like get up and dance? What do I need?
Like I said, man, we're gonna have a lot of ad reads, I hope, this year for this company. So don't show the whole show right now. You know, you gotta plan them out.
I'll save it.
You know, you gotta feel it out a little bit going down the line. But yeah, coming up with some routine to express your love could be good.
It takes like 3 minutes to switch over phone plans, and then it also takes like 3 minutes to sign up, and then on top of that, it's $15 a month.
You're telling me it's easy, it's cheap,
15,
and it's
15.
good?
15.
That's unbelievable. Also, you realize now that people are going to be expecting you to dance next week. Like, you know that's what
I'm thinking about. I'll just like get on my chair and start twerking.
Oh my god.
Is that appropriate?
That's Bear, this is a podcast now. Everyone's going to have to come to the live recording that we do every Monday night at 8 o'clock at twitch.tv/prediction esports. All you've got to do is come to twitch.tv/prediction esports in order to watch BaRRaCCuDDa twerk on his chair next week because of how much he loves Mint Mobile.
Old Faithful might die during that.
That's all right. It had to go sometime, and look, there is no better way to go than being climbed on by BaRRaCCuDDa about to twerk. He about to throw it back because he loves his mobile service so much, bro. That's how it goes. When you love your mobile service so much that you can't help but throw it back, you know it's got to be Mint Mobile. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped straight to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/backliners. That's mintmobile.com/backliners. Get your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/backliners. BaRRa, better start limbering up for next Monday night.
That's what I'm already doing, bro.
Yep, that's smart. That's a good call by you. All right, Berserker. I'm gonna just kind of like only hit the ones that I think are going to be impactful, because you know that's what our show is a little bit more focused on. And one of them is Berserker Shield. Certainly, Berserkers, if you haven't been playing Smite on the live client, has been certainly very potent. And it turns out that having like power and protections and attack speed and pen all on the same item makes it like really good for a lot of different characters. So it's weird. Yeah, it turns out that that's how it goes. So it's getting a bit of a rework. It is now going to be 2,400 gold for 30 power, 60 protection, 25% attack speed, 15 HP 5. And the passive is changing to, if you drop below 40% health, you become Berserk for 5 seconds. Berserk provides 7% damage mitigation, and that has an internal cooldown of 15 seconds. Are you good?
Just the last line just baits me, man.
It does on the regular patch notes say can now be built by all physical gods. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of the patch notes, you'll see that in the PTS that has changed to exclude the backline hunters.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
You know, that's just something that the community really wanted. I personally, again, this is my personal opinion that does not reflect the entirety of everyone else. For me, I don't think this would have been very good on hunters. I think that it would have been very gold inefficient. You would have lived, and you would have lived in order to do no damage and not be super useful. But
let me buy it.
Look, I mean, the community didn't want a bot, and we're here to help the community make the. You know, we want to make the game what the community wants. So that was an easy change.
Who in the community said that?
It was all over Twitter and Reddit and Pro Discord and everyone. Everyone, no one wanted.
I was the only hunter abusing this item.
You're the only hunter who wants to build defense, bro.
No, I'm the only hunter that wants to live through the assassin diving me.
BaRRa, just tell them to be juicier, and you won't have to get dove.
Bro, mages can build Celestial, and all of my FizzD items suck.
Well, unlucky for you. Celestial, good.
Zap said it because his old jungler, Cubo, hated diving me because I would have Berserkers and Boy.
Was that the greatest compliment you've ever received as a player?
Yeah, it was really fun that you could have crit in your build and be super tanky and have penetration and then also have a sick passive and not die. That was actually really fun. I really enjoyed that, I think.
Yeah. Sure. I'm sure every hunter wants to build 2 hybrid items and definitely not deal a lot of damage. I'm sure that's what they want.
I was doing damage, man. You do damage by staying alive. It's different.
Yeah. All right, a couple warrior item buffs. Blackthorn, Spiked Shield, Glad Shield all got a little bit better. Since you're a hunter, I'll stop on this one. Leather Cowl goes from 15 to 20 power. Do you envision yourself buying Leather Cowl a little bit more?
I thought Deathtoll is pretty overstated right now. It just gives you everything, and it also gives you infinite mana, which is kind of weird. Because I feel like Deathtoll shouldn't give you more mana than Bluestone does, but it does, and that seems weird to me. So it's nice that the other Hunter Hunter starter items are being buffed to put them in contention with Destol.
Bear, have you
I still
bought?
think
Oh,
Destol.
sorry. Go ahead.
I still think Destol is good on like other gods, and it's still good on like most hunters right now. But it makes Cal into the position where it can contest, in my opinion.
Bear, have you bought Leader's Cowl ever?
I bought it a few times, but every time I'm like, is this even doing anything?
Have you bought? It got
'Cause
buffed fairly significantly, like middle or end of last year. I want to
yeah.
say.
And just the other upgrade, especially if you're going Silver Branch in a build, just feels so much better, I think. Um, I don't know. I've thought about Leader's Cowl, but it just seems weird. But I might try it out now with the 50 power on it.
Yeah, I should. I will admit that I haven't done a whole lot of testing on Leader's Cowl. I'm not exactly as much as I love being a backliner. No offense, Barra, but I'm not a huge ADC fan. I don't like playing the role a whole lot personally.
Really? Why not?
You almost kept it in there, Barry. You almost muted in time to get your laugh out, but not quite. I don't know, man. If I get to, like, getting to level 20, if I can just load in and play a level 20 hunter, I have a lot of fun. That's really fun. I like the power, I like the way that, like, mages power spike a lot better than the way I like hunters power spike. Just like my personal preference as a player.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, I kind of came to the realization a while ago, Barry, that I think that I am just a really bad laner in every lane, including mid. I don't think I'm a good early game player, really at all, which is unfortunate because I think that is like the best thing to be good at, because you'll win games for free off of it. But boy, do I love team fighting.
It's not like in mid, it's not that important, right? Most of the time in Smite, I feel like in League it's probably a lot more important, but in Smite,
yeah, laning in general is more important in League because it's more punishing and more drawn out.
Yeah, I feel like most mages can just like 1 to like 3 tap the lane and just like walk away.
Yeah, but
I feel like you only have to
I think
win.
I'm not great still at like making the right decision on where I'm going to farm and like being at the right fights and like, you know, prioritizing and that kind of stuff. But man, you put me level 20 with everyone else level 20, ready to team fight, any role. I'm a team fight master, bro. That's what I'm about. I love team fighting is by far the most fun part of Smite to me. It is not
Completely
close.
agreed.
So much fun.
I love team fighting.
Me too. If I could just play solo lane and never have to lane at all and only get to team fighting stage, team fighting as a solo laner, bro, is so fun. You just get to pick one dude and go, you don't get to play anymore. you in the back. Yeah, I'm coming for you. And then you just like blink on them and they don't get to play at all. And it is awesome. I love it.
You burned both their relics and killed them.
Oh. Because I've been on the other side and I know how helpless it feels when that Cullen just blinks on me. I love ruining their fun.
Especially when like the support already forces like either your jump or like one of your self peel buttons, and the solar just goes on you for free, and you're like, no.
When I'm a solo laner and I watch like I blink in, their mid uses a movement ability, uses a relic or two, and then I see my jungler RKO them from the side, just completely like flatten them because they have no relics. It's a work of art. I love it. Not very backliner conversation here. We're kind of like being traders, but I just think that every role in Smite has a lot of fun stuff that's going on.
Look, no. It is very fun to make other people go through what you have to go through. That's the part of it that me and you really enjoy.
Misery does love company. For sure.
Exactly. And it's so fun to ruin other people's game. It's like a stress relief. Maybe there's like there's
something cathartic about it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's something like, you know, deep in your brain there's just like releasing endorphins, just causing people pain.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I totally agree. And then on the other side, doesn't it feel really good whenever a solo laner tries to ruin your fun and then you just like completely outspace them, like juke some stuff. Like outplay their dive, just leave them a little tied up. Like that feels really good too.
Or they dive like way too hard and then get immediately punished and like die in like 2 seconds. You're like, ha, you look dumb now.
Yep. There's really, man, it's really tough. Like you and I are on opposite ends of this discussion where you're typically a soul laner or a support will pick either the mage or the hunter in order to blink on at a high level. And here's a little hint, chat. If they can blink on both of you at the same time, that means you were in the wrong place. One of you was in the wrong place. That's a little tip for you. Okay, that's some free advice from me. Don't get blinked on by the same person.
You got to be close enough to help your boy out, but not close enough to get by whatever AoE frontliner they have.
Exactly. Yep.
And then you also need to understand the geography of the map, of where you are on the map.
Yep.
And be able to utilize it. And if you're like, say you're right in front of a funnel, if you're getting blinked on, one of you guys has to go down that funnel. If both of you guys go down that funnel, you are immediately trapped, and you're in a very bad position. So you need to like already have your escape planned out, you know.
It's like, let's say they're like, we're doing a fire dance, and I'm as the mage, like I'll probably play a little bit more off to the left, like closer to the solo lane, and the hunter will play like on the other side of that harpy wall. And you see like the warrior blink on them, and I kind of like look at it, and I think like, do I want to help that guy? Or do I just want to go hit the other people? And it's a really tough decision sometimes, because I know what I should be doing most of the time. And sometimes it is the right call to just leave your fellow backliner to, like, if they get here's another free tip for you. If the hunter, or let's say you're the mage, let's say you're like me and like cool and smart and funny and all this kind of stuff, and you're playing mid lane, and you hear 2 blinks go off, and you see the hunter getting jumped on by the jungler and the solo laner, he gone. Let him go. Yep. You just kind of shoot the gap. You go forward instead of backward, and then that's gonna rotate the team fight in your favor. You know what I mean? That's what you got to do. We're just, man, we got life advice, we got team fight advice. Like, what don't we have? We got advice on which seller you're planning to go to, which is mintmobile.com/backliners.
If it's ever me and Aggro, don't leave us. Help us out. But other people you can leave. But never leave us.
All right, last piece of free advice for your support players out there. You watch your hunter get blinked on, and you see their mid laner, like, way in the back getting blinked on by your jungler and your warrior. Don't try and catch up to their mid laner. Don't do it. Turn around. You have Shell and Sprint as your relics. That's not going to help kill that guy. They got it. Turn around and use them on us.
Please.
Turn around.
We're desperate.
At Jake, turn around. Am I right? I don't know. That's just a guess. I felt pretty good about that guess, though, to be honest.
I've given up at this point.
All right, fair enough.
He's unleashed.
Fair enough. Chin size. Reduce the cost from 2,700 to 2,600. Are you a chin size stan these days?
I am, depending on the build, depending on the god. Obviously, any hunter buffs are much appreciated. And I do think this is the correct way to go for it, like reducing the cost versus buffing one of the stats on the item, because I think stat-wise it does insanely good damage, but it's really hard to get that spike online sometimes, because it just feels like forever when you're farming for that. Sure. Especially if you're like, dude, if you're like 1,200 in your team's like, let's do gold, and you're like, no.
Yeah, let's, or wait.
No, please.
Or we don't. Maybe we don't.
One more wait. No, Bear, come to gold. Okay. All right. Let's do it.
Yep, that's the way it goes. All right, Jotun's Ferocity gets a little bit of ICD reduction. The katanas lose 50 gold, including stone cutting and hastened, but Serrated Edge and Golden Blade stay the same. Serrated because it's already really good and sees play all the time. Golden Blade because it's already the cheapest tier 3 in the game, and I think that would put it under 2,000 gold for a tier 3, which just feels kind of wrong. So I think that's why those happened. Jade Emperor's Crown gets a little bit of a buff after its shift, and Oni's gets a little bit more health, and that's all the items. Okay, on to the gods. Barry, this is where it gets a little spicy. Okay, this is where it gets a little wild. Hebo no longer roots himself whenever he casts Water Spout. I think this god's gonna be good.
Yeah. You know, something tells me that as well. I feel like maybe we're heading in the direction where Anubis will start moving as well. You know, just maybe. Like, maybe Agni will start moving as well. You
Yeah,
know?
I
Where
don't
do
know
we
about
draw the
all that.
line with these
Well,
mages?
huh.
Look, I know you just slid in, but this is a pretty big buff you put out.
There's a very big
So,
buff. There's no doubt, and he did get a nerf alongside it
he
during
did. Yeah,
PTS,
he did.
where he lost 10% scaling on Water Spout.
Yep.
So it feels better to use, but won't deal quite as much damage. 10% scaling on a mage is a lot,
Yep.
especially on a god like Hebo who's building full power most of the time. Yeah, I think I'm definitely excited. Hebo did not see a lot of play at all last year at the high levels, and
I think
go ahead.
I think it's just his kit. He's sometimes a suicide bomber, and I think if he can't do that job well, and if he also doesn't feel good to play against frontliners, then he's just not picked over other mages that either have better over-the-wall damage or are just safer in general.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the thing, like, there are just a lot of players at the SPL level who are historically very good Hebo players. This god for everyone. I'm sure a lot of people, if you asked, they'd say that Hebo is like an easy god to play because, you get to 6 items, you press 4, and then you one-shot someone. But in reality, against good players, this god is very difficult to play.
Yep.
And I think the root on Water Spout was a big reason why he was really difficult to play. And why he was so... Well, no, not why he was so difficult necessarily, but why he was so easily punished at a high level. I still think he's going to be punishable. I still don't think he's good at all stages of the game. I think he still has clear weaknesses, like you said. But I think this is going to feel really good. Is it going to make him... is it going to shoot him up the mage tier list instantly? Very possible. But...
Yep.
I don't know. I think that for me, and in thinking about a change like this, I think I would rather have the god feel good and then change it around that than have the god feel bad in order to make it better to play against, if that makes sense. I think that there's a world where Water Spout cannot root Hebo and it doesn't feel overbearing. And did we get it right now? Who knows? We certainly don't know. But I think that, and certainly whenever we get to a god later on the list, I'm sure I'm going to have a long speech about it. But in general, I think that keeping in mind that we're doing this in the name, we're doing changes like these in the name of making the players who play these gods have more fun and feel better. But we don't want the experience to play against them to be bad either. We're keeping that kind of stuff in mind for sure. There's no doubt about that. That's all I got to say about it.
I was gonna keep going, but I was like, if I start going, then we're gonna be here on that Evo for like.
You're so smart. But you were gonna say you agree and that you like the change and that we're all really smart, right? Just making sure. Okay, yeah. Just took the words out of your mouth. Poseidon gets some mana cost reductions. Love that for him. Baron, I am super pumped to play with this buff. Life of the party, decrease the self-slow from 60% to 40%, and increase the tick damage scaling from 6% of your magical power to 8% of your magical power. This ability is going to feel... In playtesting, this ability has felt really, really responsive and fun to use when you're not slowed by as much. You can make a lot of plays where you people are trying to get down Mr. President and stop you from hitting the back line. A support's trying to get in front of you. I literally slid around a support to stun the mage. And it felt so much fun. It felt like so much fun. Baron's another character we haven't seen at a high level for a long time. So, and I'm a Baron. I love Baron. I think that when I think of gods that we really nailed the personality and the theming and how they play and all that kind of stuff with, Baron is literally the first one that comes to mind. So I love this god and I'm super excited to play with him.
Yeah, I think it's just, as a character, he's just in that awkward, am I a support, am I a soul lane, or am I a mid laner?
Right.
Area. And I don't think he, excels at any of them, except in, counter matchups in solo.
Yeah. I think he's got some good matchups in mid. I think he has some good matchups.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I think this is more of a mid laner buff, obviously, with the scaling as well, than a solo laner buff. But we'll see. I think Baron's just really hard to play in mid, so
Yep.
we'll see if people actually play it. I think if you do play it, I think you'll need a full like 3v3 like comp around him to like keep him alive in a very peel oriented comp.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll see if teams start playing him in mid. I don't yeah, like I said, I don't think this is like a support or solo lane buff for him. So we'll see. We'll see. Nice little quality life change regardless.
Yeah, I think Baron, to use a term that they use in other MOBAs a lot, content creators and high level players, they talk a lot about what picks are quote unquote blindable, like your top pick in the draft in ranked, and you can pick this god without worry of getting countered or having bad matchups. I would never describe Baron as a blindable mid laner, but I think that if I'm 10th picking a draft, I think there are a lot of gods that I look at and I think, man, Baron would really slam here. And if you guys haven't tried full damage Baron recently, he's gotten a lot of scaling buffs over the last few like patches or over the last year or so. This man pumps damage. Like, you can really one tap people with this god come late game. And you bring a lot of utility and that kind of stuff. All I'm saying is, next time you see a Raw locked in on the other side, lock in Baron, and he is going to have no fun. Like, if you ever root him, he's toast. Any god like that doesn't get away from your root well would be what I categorize as generally good matchups for Baron. So highly recommend giving him a shot. And I can't wait to play him. I'm definitely going to be spamming him on the next patch.
Yeah, every time I play him full offense and like Assault, and he feels super OP. Anyways.
Yep. He slams. All right. This is the big one here, Barry. Serket. So, as it says in the dev notes here, we're trying something a little bit new called a rebalance, where, we think there are some gods that, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably a fan of the SPL in some way. If you've been watching the SPL for any amount of time over these last few years, you've seen Serket be very, very prevalent in a lot of different metas. And not since she came out has she been built as a true assassin. It has always been as a support or as a hybrid or tank assassin. And she's built that way because she was really darn good at it. She still put pressure on beads. She still put pressure on your life total. She would just 100 to 0 you, be the most mobile god in the game, and then get out of every situation. And, in talking to pros, this was a god that certainly had terrorized them for a long time, and we were getting a lot of feedback about. And looking at her numbers, her play rate, her win rate, different MMRs, different elos, casuals, ranked, all that kind of stuff. It was very clear that there was a significant disconnect between what casual players were feeling about Serket and what pro players were feeling about Serket. And I think that a lesson that AJ and the design team has talked about in the past is, these full-on reworks, all they really do most of the time is serve to upset the current players, and then that are playing those gods. The mains of those gods only get upset that they're losing what they love, and every other player already has a preconceived notion of what they think about that god, and you have to convince all of those players, and you're only going to be able to convince some of them, no matter what, no matter how successful it is. And so it's a lot of work that players don't usually like, even if it's successful by our measurable metrics or, what our goals are for those characters. So I think for pro, these rebalances, I think are a really good direction. Obviously I feel that way, or else we wouldn't be I wouldn't be helping to work on them and working on them. But, do I think we got Serket's right away? No, clearly not, based on the community sentiment. But, this is our first attempt at this type of initiative. And I think that, we learned a lot from this process, and we'll continue to learn a lot. I still think that there's going to be a lot of data that comes out about Serket whenever more people get their hands on her or are able to try her out, that I'm really looking forward to seeing. But yeah, that's my general spiel on Serket. You know, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited for everyone to get their hands on her. You know, I spam so many Serket games and playtests, like support, jungle, every type of build you can think of. I was running them, and I really think that in the long run, you know, I don't know if we got it right out of the gate, but I really think that in the long run, this is a much healthier direction for this character, and that's the end goal at the end of the day, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you basically said everything I was gonna say. I'll just give a really quick opinion. Just very, very, very good change. I think Circuit support is one of the most frustrating supports to play against, like, ever, because, like you said, she just kills you and then also lives. It's just like very frustrating.
Yep.
And I think the continual shifts on Circuit, nerfing tank or like support Circuit over and over and over again, and moving in a more assassin direction is just healthier for the game overall. I do think she still can be played in support if you need like just a true rat character, you know.
Yep.
But it definitely makes her worse. So overall, really good balance change. Thumbs up.
Thanks, Barry. I only worked on it for weeks. I really, you know, like I said, I think that obviously everyone is very worried about her not having that role flexibility. I'd like to clarify again, you know, based on my comments on the patch notes show, that I think if anyone has listened to my casting over the years, I think I have been one of the most vocal supporters of role flexibility for gods and flexing new gods to new roles and trying new things. I think that's the coolest thing that you could be doing, is coming up with new strategies that other people haven't done and using things in a different way. I agree with Barry that I do think that you can play Serket support and she will still do a lot of the same things really well. The only thing she will do worse is she will not solo kill an enemy carry nearly as well. And that is
dang it
intended. That is exactly what I want to happen.
Gosh darn it, man.
But everyone, she still has Prot Shred on Deathbane. She still has 2 CCs. She still has 100% anti-hero on her ultimate. You can do it. You know, I think that it's just worse for dealing damage. And I think that it was doing too much. So that's that makes sense to me. But yes, in all honesty, I'm very excited for you guys to get your hands on it. Give me your feedback whenever you're playing it. You know, try some crit builds, try some full power pen builds, try some hybrid builds, see if they're still working for you. You know, it's not all right, we're done with this. On to the next one. That's not how it works. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on Serket for sure. Okay. Thor. Little bit of lightning damage and range on the ultimate. I think that this is a bigger buff. I haven't seen anyone talking about this Thor buff, and I actually think it matters like quite a bit. Personally.
Yeah, I'm still on just the train of I don't think Thor is that great.
Yep.
So I think he needs a little bit of a bigger buff than this, unless you're a Thor main already. And I think those are the only people that are really going to be excited about this change, is if you're already like a Thor main and you're already good with him on the Conquest map.
Yep.
Which I don't see a lot of people picking Thor and having success on the Conquest map, maybe other game modes. But in ranked, I barely see Thor.
Like, yeah, Thor is hard, bro. Thor has got to be top 3 like hardest assassins.
Dude,
this god's hard.
I don't know if I'm stupid, but I feel like people used to be better at Thor than they are now. I don't know if I'm stupid. I could be stupid.
I think it's two things. I think it's two things. I think you and everyone else were worse.
True.
And didn't respect the ultimate nearly as much. Probably weren't like warding as much as you are in the right spots, all that kind of stuff. And 2, I think it just was a little bit of happenstance or dumb luck that all the best junglers were just really vibed with this character. We're just really good Thor players, you know. Andy, adapting, Homie, like Gars, like those dudes. It could have been a different god that they just vibed with and we're all sick at. It just happened to be Thor. And the junglers right now, you know, like Sam really likes playing Thor. I know he played a lot last year. Panatom, I see like slamming on Thor and ranked a lot. But, you know, maybe it just not the characters that they like perfectly. You know, there's just gods that you just like everything they do just feels so smooth and so right and just like hits you know the way that you want it to. And I think it just so happened that Thor was that way back in the day, or he was broken OP out of his mind and everyone just played him because of that. It was one, you know, impossible to say, hard to say.
Yeah, stun did do damage. So.
Yeah, that's true. That was good, but it also didn't stun back in the day, so it was
true. It's just a Ymir wall
that did damage on deploy. I don't know, stuff's weird. All right, a couple hunter buffs. Give me the one you're most excited about. Okay, yeah, go for it.
He was actually better because the Thor wall would bug you to where you couldn't move off.
Yeah,
of it.
You stand on top of it, right?
Yeah, Thor's got so many more kills back then than the. Yeah,
true.
Okay.
All right, we'll put the bug back. There you go. That's the Thor buff that BaRRaCCuDDa is asking for. All right, 3 hunter buffs. I'm just gonna have you tell me which one you're most excited about: Cupid, Jingwei, or Xbalanque.
The Cupid one is okay. I think. I still think Cupid's in the kind of.
I asked BaRRaCCuDDa to give me an opinion of which of these 3 gods he's the most excited about. BaRRaCCuDDa, notable Jingwei abuser, and Xbalanque lover. Okay. No shot. How do I think this is going to go any other way than Cupid's your least favorite?
You're not wrong, but Jingwei in the crit meta right now, I think she feels a little weird. Especially against like Crusher Hunters that can like abuse you early game. I think Jing and Xbalanque both lose to those, and you're not loving life. And then Cupid's, in my opinion, more of a counter matchup character than a like you said, you can like blind pick them. I don't think Cupid is in that territory except for like the Cupid Rama meta in like season 6.
Yep.
Or season 7. Season 7. I think this will help Jingwei, and I do like the idea of this buff. And then same for Xbalanque, but they're just like they're just the damage hunters, I guess. Like both of them don't have the greatest CCs. I think Jingwei knockup's pretty unreliable most of the time, unless you're like waiting with it. And then the heart bomb, it will feel nice, obviously in the game, but I don't think this will make me pick any of these characters more, unless the situation allows me to.
You're saying
if the situation allows me to. It'll feel really nice, obviously.
If it looked like a good Cupid game or a good Jingwei game, you probably would have picked them anyways. But now you're going to be happier that they're better in those situations.
Yep, basically.
Makes sense to me.
Just these 3 hunters are just, like I said, they're just hard to like pick like raw. Like even in ranked, like you can't like, oh yeah, let me just top pick the Xbalanque and hopefully no one counters me or the jungler.
Surely no one would pick Fenrir this game. Surely no one would pick Fenrir. No
Max are brutalized and just do 800 damage to me in my dash. And
surely that wouldn't happen. Surely that wouldn't happen. All right, yeah, fair enough. Ymir, Xing, Chen, Cthulhu all get buffs. Yeah, nothing really to write home about there. And Cuchulainn has really struggled since some changes to him last season, some itemization changes and that kind of stuff. So gets a nice little buff on his passive and on the leap. All right, and then in PTS, the last thing here on the patch notes, I already mentioned a few of these, but Shiva is getting his CC reduced. Basically, the amount of time that the height at which you were pulled on the sweep is going down, so you'll be CC'd for less duration, as well as losing power there, and decrease the knockup height on the 2. I think both of these are going to feel very noticeable when playing against Shiva, for sure.
Yeah, that character's kind of good.
Yeah, I think so too. Then we got Hebo, we already talked about. Fenrir, I believe he's in the bonus, so that's why I didn't talk about his other change. But Fenrir getting another high-level focus change. He's losing some duration. It used to be that you could run around in your ultimate for 5 seconds. You could run around like a little guy. But actually as a big guy. And then no matter when you bit someone in your ultimate, they would stay in your mouth for 2 seconds. So even if you went into the ult, insta-bit them, stay there for 2 seconds, you detransform. You guys know how Fenrir works. Why am I telling you this? Duration to run around as a big guy goes from 5 seconds to 4 seconds, and the time you're in their mouth goes from 2 seconds to 1.75 seconds. This is obviously a blanket nerf to Fenrir, both in support and in jungle, but through feedback from pros and our own play tests and that kind of stuff. I'm really of the opinion, especially that it was tank Fenrir that could really abuse that duration more than assassin Fenrir. Assassin Fenrir wants to oftentimes pick you up, insta right click it, start auto attacking you. They want to jump on you, insta proc it, that kind of stuff. They don't have time to run around. So I think it's a good shift. I know, again, that's another guy that people are worried about the role flexibility being viable.
Look, it's fine for them to be role flexible, but once they're OP and they're not intended role is where it's an issue.
Yeah, I think that...
In my opinion. Like, if it's, like, extremely annoying to play against and they're technically an assassin, they shouldn't be better at the role they're not intended for. And these are changes to stop that, in my opinion. As long as it's, like, even... I don't have an issue as long as it's even. Like,
I agree.
If it's, like, a flex, I think that's fine.
I agree.
But if it's, like... They top pick Fenrir, and I'm like, okay, that's going to support. Or they go to top pick Serket, and I'm like, okay, that's going to support. That's where the issue comes from.
Yes, I don't disagree with you. I think that one thing that I really kept in mind in like the Serket work and that kind of stuff, and keep in mind a lot, is that if a player is playing Serket for maybe not even the first time, like new players are going to make mistakes no matter what, but if you have been playing Smite for a little bit, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna, I'm looking at the assassin tab. Oh, I'm gonna try Serket. Oh, she does a lot of, she's got some abilities that I want to be using a lot. She doesn't really seem like an auto attacker. I'm gonna build some pen and some cooldown, or like, oh, I see her Deathbane can crit. I'm gonna build crit. I don't think it makes, I don't want the player building the god the way it seems like they should be built to be doing it strictly wrong. And if you were building full damage Serket before these changes, it significantly hurt your win rate. So, I think that just bringing it, does it have to be way better to build full damage Serket than build tank Serket? No, it doesn't have to be way better, but I don't think it should be strictly worse. And I think you can make a pretty compelling argument that it was pretty darn close to strictly worse. And the same can be said for Fenrir. But he's also getting some extra. He's getting a buff in this patch as well that was added during PTS. He's increasing the protections he gets while channeling Brutalized. Was 5+1 per level to now 5 plus 1.5 per level. And then a lot of talk about itemization and tanks doing too much damage and all that kind of stuff. That we are all very. We're hearing it a lot of places, and we're doing a lot of thinking about, how to remedy that and what type of changes we want to make. And, obviously a lot of that feedback grew to a larger level, like right before patch notes, when patch notes were already locked. So we can only do a few changes during the PTS, but, I know that's something that feedback is still something that we are keeping a close eye on. But a couple of those just snuck in here. Voidstone loses 5% protection reduction on the passive. Runeforged Hammer loses 10 power, and Hide of the Nemean Lion loses 20 prots.
Woo!
Woo!
And then Berserker Shield got taken away.
And then Berserker Shield can't be built by BaRRaCCuDDa and BaRRaCCuDDa only.
It really is.
We actually account locked BaRRaCCuDDa's IP. We went into the database and found Barra's IP, and then IP banned him from building any defense on a hunter.
That's a little rude.
I did it
personally.
Understandable. I did it personally.
It's just, like we talked about as the soul inners earlier, it's just so nice to not die, and to ruin other people's, their
Barra, here's the problem.
Game they have going on.
Here's the problem.
Yes.
If they press tab and they see you have Berserkers and Void Shield, they go, oh, cool. That guy's worthless. I'm going to blink on the mage instead. And you can't do anything to peel me. And if you do the thing that we talked about, where you go forward instead of helping me, you know what you're going to do? No damage, because you build a 30 power item that has no relevant passive to you. But you're hitting them.
I think the damage mitigation is pretty nice.
Mitigation is better whenever you're already tanky, You're getting kind of tanky.
Yeah. Yeah, see, 60 prots, and then I get mitigation as well. See,
I could be
you're
wrong.
thinking I would
We don't have to. We don't have to know. You know, we don't have to know if it was going to be good on hunters
like
or not. But I don't
like I
believe
would ever be behind Vin if I have like 180 physical prots.
it.
Look,
Yeah.
one role should not be able to live through the jungler while I have to struggle. That's the thing. See, they have Celestial. All junglers are physical. Celestial, good against physicals,
All
But I think
junglers are
that
physical.
was
Did you see the Hebo no longer roots himself whenever he water spouts change? Did you see
yeah, if
that?
that comes back and I get like Blink knocked up into an ult again, I hope that never happens. Oh, that's you're just giving me like PTSD right now. Just the amount of times that Blink knocked up into an ult by a jungle Hebo it's just too high. It's just not fun. You just have to pre-Aegis the Blink noise, and then if I don't, I die.
Uh huh.
Oh, wait. Never mind. I'll ask you afterwards.
Fair enough. All right, that's the podcast for the week. But of course, we've got a random question of the week, and as I mentioned, Joe already gave me a great idea for it. We went to a drag show this weekend. That was my first time ever going to a drag show. It was very fun. A lot of laughs, and definitely a good time. The food was not good, but I wasn't expecting a whole lot there. So, I'm not really holding it against them. Definitely would recommend. But, they all come out and they perform to a song. They lip sync a song and dance and are really over the top and very funny and all this kind of stuff. And Joe's question of the week was, if you were to do a drag show, what song would you dance and lip sync to? What song would you perform to? You want something a little upbeat? You want something a little like that you can dance to?
Honestly, dude. Okay. Yeah, I think it would be Britney Spears. Hit Me Baby One More Time.
Ooh, that is a good one, Barry.
Honestly, dude, it just has.
That
to be
might be
that.
one of your best random question of the week answers ever.
Thank you. It
Man.
just sounds like a banger, and it'd be fun to dance to. So.
It is a banger. It is fun to dance to. Man, I out of respect for you, I did not think about this question at all ahead of time. Even though I knew the question, I didn't. Well, I know, but now you're going to embarrass me in this party, Barry, by having such a good answer right off the rip.
Thank you. Well, you got some time,
What would I dance to? When you said Britney Spears, I thought you were going to say Toxic, which is my personal favorite Britney Spears song.
Bigger fan of Hit Me Baby One More Time for me. It's just got the nostalgia factor for me, and the dance in it, like everything. It's just a banger of a song, banger of a music video. Like, just
dude,
they don't make them like they used to.
I know the perfect song.
Okay.
But okay. I can't do it.
Appropriate?
Well, no. Well, yes, but they all, that's like the point. It's the problem is that it's by an artist that is not a good dude, like it's not a good person.
Yeah,
but let's say maybe I would do a cover of the Ignition remix by R. Kelly, but not by R. Kelly, because all of us hate R. Kelly here. There's no. Let me be clear. No one is endorsing R. Kelly on this podcast, but
honestly, I don't even know that song.
What? You don't know the Ignition remix? That is a banger.
Okay, let me listen to it real quick.
Don't listen to it live on the podcast. You're not going to be able to hear me.
What? Yeah, that's the point. Oh, yeah, that song's really good. Okay,
that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
But I can't do it, man. I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I'm going with I'm copping out with Toxic for Britney Spears. But if someone else could cover Ignition, I would do that. And that's what I would do for my show.
That's fair. That's a good one as long as it's a cover,
Yeah, then it's fine,
yeah,
right?
Gotta be a cover.
Right, there you go. Rare question of the week where you both have good answers. Thanks for listening, Percy. Anyways,
yeah, I really appreciate the support, bro.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
That's what my on-camera teacher would say in college. She'd say that no matter what you do, if you work in this industry, you're going to have people who tell you that you're ugly and untalented and stupid and all this kind of stuff, which is certainly true. And she said the best response and the only response should be thanks for watching. That should be your only response. And so that was just like that was just it was just like instant. My brain just like spit it out and I didn't even think about it. So that's why I laughed really hard. All right, thanks so much for listening / watching, everyone. Make sure you're watching 8 p.m. twitch.tv / prediction esports next week when BaRRaCCuDDa twerks because of how much he loves our sponsor, Mint Mobile. You can go to mintmobile.com / backliners for premium wireless service for just $15 a month. Make sure you check out all the other shows on Predictions Network. They've got a lot of great shows covering a lot of different esports. Give us a rating. Subscribe to the YouTube or like it or wherever you're watching / listening. Yeah, you know what to do. All right, we're going to see you next week. I've talked too much. We'll see you later. Barry, you know what to do.
Bye!
It's like you never left, baby. That's just easy.
I carried it out for a little bit because I couldn't have Destiny do better than me last week, and she killed it last week. So I had to,
it was really good last week.
Yeah, I know. It was actually too good, and I was a little self-conscious because I was like, dang. I was sitting on the beanbag next to her, and I was like, okay.
Did you practice at all?
Just do that to me?
Did you practice at all?
Dude, I didn't practice. I don't need to go in the bathroom and practice like she does, you know? Wow. Like I can just belch it out whenever I need to. I'm a professional podcaster.
That's right, you are. Yeah, you're doing great.
Dude, look at my mustache, bro. What is that?